And your visibility problem, it comes from your perfectionism. It comes from your belief that you have to know exactly what to say. You cannot have every environment controlled, and you also cannot anticipate everything that is going to happen. It has everything to do with your willingness to walk into situations that you can't completely control and where you are a little bit vulnerable. That vulnerability, that's the superpower thing that's going to get you closer to getting that contract signed, right? So you are in the room and you are definitely selling to a particular client, but you don't even know that there's more clients who are ready to purchase your product, and you as the brand yourself, you don't even realize that they're in there ready to write the check. If only you would show your heart. If only you would allow yourself to be seen despite the fear. I want you to step into that uncomfortable zone, and I want to be the person who is supporting you to glow in that uncomfortable zone.
You ready to speak like a boss? Let's get into your most powerful story, because your story matters.
My dear invisible experts, this one is for you and it's going to hurt. I'm here to tell you that you have to do it anyway. You have to do it even though you are afraid. What am I talking about? You actually have to get on the stage and expose yourself by being vulnerable enough to speak without necessarily being perfect, without necessarily having everything figured out. I know what you have been trained to do, and I know what all of your expert advisors around you tell you. Avoid situations where you don't know what's going to happen next. Avoid situations where your nerves are bigger than the thing that is the strategic thing to do, right? I'm here to tell you that taking the risk of being seen, taking the risk of getting on that stage and speaking, taking the risk of speaking to that reporter and just being honest, okay? I'm also gonna tell you to be strategic, don't worry. But speaking to that reporter and speaking in a way where you are a human being and not a human doing, just quoting things at them, I know that that is scary as F. I also know that the perfectionist inside of you, right? That's part of what's keeping you from being seen and doing the thing that feels terrifying. Right now, it is pouring bananas where I am. It is pouring in Oaxaca. The perfectionist in me wants to do this video all over again because I'm worried about what is this video going to sound like? Is the quality going to be the level that I want it to be at? But that's not the point. The point is to get this message across to you. So bear with me. The sound may be a little bit rocky, but we're going to get into it. And I want to start by sharing a personal story. Let me tell you something that happened to me that really helped me understand the power of what it means to show up for the thing and do it anyway, even though your knees are a little bit shaky. So I was leading this program for young professionals at multi-billion-dollar organizations in New York. Really prestigious, really big deal, kind of a lot at stake with this one particular invitation that I got to speak at one of the multi-billion-dollar organizations. Essentially, they were testing me, right? They wanted to see if the thing that I was promising we could deliver made sense given the kind of speaker that I was, and made sense given the chemistry that I might have when I spoke in the room. I was really nervous. I wanted to say no. I really wanted to say no because I didn't have a lot of time to prepare. And also, the topic that they had matched me to was not a perfect match for what I was inviting them to do with us, the kind of work that I wanted to do with them. I went anyways. I did it scared as F. I remember the night before staying up with my sister, walking through the material, and basically just having her like hold my hand and tell me like, oh my God, why am I doing this again? Let me tell you, not only was the material that I delivered really well received by the room, I got a huge applause from everybody that came from around the world, by the way. These were young executives, handpicked by this particular multinational as like, these are our leaders. They brought all of those people into this room. I did my presentation. These young professionals were so impressed with what I did. Everybody was applauding. It went really well, etc. And so was the host. The host actually signed the contract following that presentation that I did, right? So it was a test. I was right about reading it that way, and I passed the test. But here's the thing that was really fascinating that also happened. I got a call from a different organization, and the leaders of that organization, they'd also been in the room, and they were so impressed with me as a speaker and what I shared that was vulnerable. They invited me to come out to a whole different coast. This was like on the West Coast that they invited me out to, and to do some work under my own personal brand at that particular organization. Did I like the paycheck that came with it? Honey, all day. Did I get that work because I was willing to be imperfect? I remember I sat down after that presentation, and I was going through all of my mistakes and the ways that I could have been better, because I know myself on stage, and because I am a perfectionist. Every single time I get on the stage or in front of somebody that I'm presenting to, I know how to deliver really well. And I also know in the moments where I'm like, oh, I could do this better, I could do that better. So you best believe when I got off that stage, I had all of these things running in my head of like, oh, I could have done this better, I could have done that better. The perfectionist in me. Thank God I did it anyway, because it not only won, like I said, the main client that I was there to impress, but it got me additional exposure to somebody I wasn't expecting that. They were like, yeah, come, we'll fly you. They flew me across the country, and they paid me a really nice chunk of change for the work that I did. Why am I telling you this? Because you have a visibility problem. And your visibility problem, it comes from your perfectionism. It comes from your belief that you have to know exactly what to say. I wouldn't even know what to say, right? That's one of the things that you keep telling yourself over and over. You cannot have everything controlled. You cannot have every environment controlled, and you also cannot anticipate everything that is going to happen. If they ask you a question and you don't know what to say, let that be. Like, it's fine. And not only let that be and it's fine, but that's also the kind of stuff that I will definitely walk you through when we work together and I help you work through your media training. There's always going to be a question that is left field. There's always going to be a question that makes you wonder, like, what was that about? How you handle it has nothing to do with the bizarreness of that question. It has everything to do with your willingness to walk into situations that you can't completely control and where you are a little bit vulnerable. And guess what? That vulnerability, that's the superpower thing that's going to get you closer to getting that contract signed, right? So you are in the room and you are definitely selling to a particular client, but you don't even know that there's more clients who are ready to purchase your product, and you as the brand yourself, you don't even realize that they're in there ready to write the check. If only you would show your heart. If only you would allow yourself to be seen despite the fear. So I want you to remember this. Do it anyway. Do it regardless of how fearful you feel. And if you can, get yourself a coach who is going to walk you through those butterflies, because they're real and they're strategies that are really smart that allow you to feel empowered when you walk into situations where you're like, this feels awkward. It's a little bit like more than what I'm comfortable. I'm definitely stepping into my uncomfortable zone. I want you to step into that uncomfortable zone, and I want to be the person who is supporting you to glow in that uncomfortable zone. All of my details to work together one-on-one through coaching on your thought leadership, on your executive presence, and stepping into any kind of situation, on your media training, so you're able to handle any question that comes at you, no matter how left field it is. And why do we do this work? Because I want you to be a thought leader. How do you become a thought leader? By becoming more visible. Why do you want to be a thought leader? Fast track funding if you're running a company that is VC backed. Get the best partners calling you. Get quoted in the media and allow your clients to trust you before you even make the pitch for the sale. I know that these are things that are going to be game changers for you and your company. I also know that the kind of culture shift that is going to come from your values when you become a thought leader and use your platform towards writing all the cray-cray that's going on in the world. I know that that's the kind of world that I want to live in. So let's begin that work together. Thank you so much for being here. I am Mahohodi. I'm also the host of Madam Speaker Says. It is a podcast where I speak to some of the most interesting thought leaders at work today to understand how they got to those positions and to unpack all of the tools, all of the skills, all of the friendship groups, all of the group chats that help them stand in their power as thought leaders, as women. How many times are women standing in their thought leadership and saying, yep, it's mine? If you're interested in those kinds of conversations, check out Madam Speaker Says. It is a podcast available wherever you like to get your podcasts. And again, I just want to thank you for being here.
Was that useful? You want to go even deeper? I'd love to support you. My coaching program can help you make money and spark action whenever you speak with intention. Book time to chat using the link in the description box below. Also, leave a comment if this video offered something you needed to hear today, or if you have a question you want me to unpack in next week's episode. Fresh episodes drop every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Hit subscribe to get a notification so you never miss a beat. Thank you so much for being here. I want you to know that your story matters. And I'm here to help you stand out from the stage to the page.